Very good evening to all of you. I know only a few people are there, so I can simply say hi to everyone. Connect with eyes to eyes, talk to you one to one, and forget my panelist here at all. But I can't. Fortunately, I'm fortunate to have a Paroma ji with me on the dais today. She needs no introduction, but still I want to let you know that one of the largest fintech GCCs, which has set up operations outside India, fintech, set up a GCC operation here without looking at India market, looking at setting up an operation here in India, in Karnataka, and in Bangalore. In last few years, I have seen her very, very closely. I've seen Revolut organization as well very closely. She has grown this organization from mere 5 or 10 people to today more than 4,000 people in Bangalore in just a couple of years. So ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome to the born leader, Paroma Chatterjee.
Thank you for that warm introduction, Sanjeev, and thank you for having me.
You deserve a lot. Maybe, sometime we'll find an autograph for you later on. And you say, hey, who are you? I don't remember you. Jokes apart. Friends, this should be a very informal discussion. You can put your hands in the middle also to interact with my, partner here on the dais. We'll have a chat like this. So first thing is, big congratulations for Revolut to consider India as a GCC and Karnataka and Bangalore. My question is, why Bangalore? You picked up as from other north. Is there something very unique in Bangalore you found, or it was just an accident which happened?
Okay, in the chatty mode, let me take you back to April 2021, 4 years ago, when Revolut first started thinking about setting up operations in India. That particular month, I joined on 21st April 2021. So I join on dates like this, which makes it easy to remember later on. In the next month, in the month of May, we were all of 7 people, me plus another 6. And we were at that time on the rolls of the UK entity to look at even setting up operations in India. And those of you who've set up companies from scratch or brought in global MNCs, you know how much it takes, what it takes, how much time it takes to even set up your company to start with. So the first thing we had to do was set up the company, set up its registrations, its GST registration, professional tax registration for the people, your shops and establishment certifications, all of those. So we got that done in about 3 months by July. And that was one of the things which I had stated to the community that I was working with, including my first set of colleagues. My birthday happens to be in July, and I'd given that as a date when I wanted the certificate in my hand as my birthday gift. And it so happened that it was the birthday gift to register Revolut in India as a company. Now, you realize the time frame in 2020. COVID was upon us. There was lockdown all around. So we had to literally build the company remote first. You can look at it in 2 ways. One, oh my God, how am I going to even set up operations in a remote first manner? Or, which has been true to my style, for those of you who worked with me know that, look at that as an opportunity. Okay, if it is remote first, how do we set up remote first? And we actually turned that to our advantage. We went and said, because it's remote first, people are working from various places, from their homes, from their hometowns. Let's literally look for the best people for the job, agnostic of where they are. I don't know how many times in your life you have the luxury to do that. Mostly you're concentrated in one place of work and you have to identify from among the resources who are available there in that geography, or resources who are willing to relocate for that job to that particular geography. But we had the luxury to literally hire the best person for the job from all across India. Now cut to a year later, August 2022. August 2022. By that time, we were out of the lockdowns and we were faced with a decision about where we had to set up our main offices. And by that time, guess how many people we were in India? कोई बोली नहीं लग रही है. 200. Okay, 200 से बोली चालू होती है. 800. Okay, 800. The gentleman there has said 800. Anybody else? Who said 1,000, 1,200? Yeah, that's the closest. We had crossed 1,500 people in a year's time, but in a completely remote first manner. So we had to figure out where we wanted to house these 1,500 people. Now came the philosophical question of office first and employees follow, or employees first and office follows. Again, in terms of my thought process, it was employees first and office follows. So when I looked at these 1,500 people very agnostically and looked at where they were organically based, where did our employees come from? Guess how many of them were from Namma Bengaluru? Not 80%, but upwards of 800 people out of the 1,500 people were from Namma Bengaluru, and the rest of the 700 people were from the rest of India. That was the single biggest reason, in all honesty, for us to look at Bengaluru by default to set up as corporate headquarters. And guess which city came second? No, not Hyderabad. Chennai, no. Pune, no. Kolkata, no. Mysore, no. Delhi, no. Okay, yes, you left out an obvious. Mumbai was actually second, and therefore we set up our second regional office out of Mumbai. But what I wanted to land here was, traditionally, you would think financial services, you would think Mumbai. But the fact that we were setting up a financial services company where the number one was Bengaluru and Mumbai was number two in terms of organic employees was an eye-opener for me as well, and the key driver of the decision to set up offices here at that time.
So, Paroma ji, thank you so much for validating this fact and challenging the number. We were thinking that we take the 40% of GCC talent from Karnataka. But you're probably wrong. It is 60% actually. Because look here, out of 1,500, 800 were actually from Namma Bengaluru. So that means in the GCC gambit, especially financial services, my team, please note this number, we published this, that 60% of the financial services talent comes from Bangalore. Finish. Lovely headlines for tomorrow morning.
If you qualify that with the kind of talent, the quality of talent that we hire for, in that level, yes, please go out there and say it. It's a matter of pride for all of us.
So I think, great. So that means you got a fantastic talent from Bangalore, you picked up the Bangalore place, and then you could. Question is, what type of work they were doing for you as a parent organization? This is more of a tech-based, deep tech-based, regulatory tech, or something like your other payment stuff, or something else. Would love to know from the audience perspective that what Revolut was actually leveraging this talent for what purpose?
Okay, how we started again was Revolut wanted to launch Revolut's products in India. So we first wanted to hire core financial product tech resources who would help scope out and solution tech-first innovative products in keeping with the regulations of India. That's the first cohort of people that we started to hire. As we hired them and they started working, what the global headquarters or the parents, we are UK, London headquartered as a matter of fact, realized and were actually taken aback, and till date a matter of pride for me, the sheer quality of the product tech resources who had joined and their quality of strategic thinking as they were scoping out the products for India. Then we started the conversations on saying that at that time, Revolut was there in 22 countries. If the resources from here are talented enough to do this level of solutioning for India-based financial products, which, by the way, based on the earlier days discussions we spoke about, is one of the most complex markets to solution for, why can't they do the same for the other 22 countries in India? That's when the second wave of expansion started, to try and get product tech resources to start solutioning for products for the other 22 countries. And then the ambition started soaring once we had this kind of setup here in India to look at even newer countries. From then, in 2022, when I'm talking about to 2024, we moved from 22 countries to 40 countries. Today, we support 40 countries from India. Wow. So it started with product tech Thank you. So it started with product tech resources. Then Revolut is, for those of you who know of our genesis, we are a very high deep tech AI analytics driven company. So it wasn't just financial product tech. Then it started going into deep tech analytics based solutioning. And therefore, it was a win-win because Revolut started seeing those kind of resources who could actually do deep tech from here, as well as our deep tech graduates, right? In Karnataka alone, I believe we have some 325,000 tech graduates who are graduating year on year. Our graduates here are getting the opportunity to work on cutting edge, world class deep tech projects from here, sitting at home here, rather than having to look out to go somewhere else for a high quality deep tech project. So it started moving from product tech to deep tech and analytics and AI ML. We use AI ML extensively. I think we quoted some data on 68% of our processes, global processes, run on AI and ML already. 68% of our processes run on AI.
Another headline,
already.
guys, note it down.
So so it was a lot of the first set of resources were along those lines. Then came the second thing on. We had just got our EU license and we had started operating. We had just got our UK bank in principle license approval, and certain frauds had started hitting. So cybersecurity and frauds became a concern. And then it came as the next wave of mandate to go and say, can we create cybersecurity or fraud prevention solutions sitting here? And yeah, I mean, it's not something that I'm proud of, but we also happen to be a nation which is at a cutting edge of frauds. This is a nation which actually throws up a Jamtara and the inordinate number of fraud instances that happen from here. But that also gives rise to what we term, set the police, actually get a thief to catch a thief. Somebody who has that thought process of being able to crack open the coconut of the Indian mindset and be able to create preventive thought processes. So our Indians actually started thinking about preventive fraud decisioning, looking at lead indicators and creating AI-based models on that. And that got implemented and scaled up across all the geographies. So then it moved towards cybersecurity and fraud prevention and anti-money laundering, anti-CFT, fin crime is a huge bunch of people who came in for that, and that grew. So those are the two big blocks. And then the third block that logically happened was to go and say, oh, hey, if we've set up a GCC here in India, where already by this time we were 2,000 odd people are already here doing such cutting edge jobs, which I think a lot of our counterparts in the UK, Europe, America would give an arm and a leg to have those jobs from there. And I'll go so far as to say would probably put them in the top tax bracket in their countries if they had those jobs over there. Those are the kind of jobs being done right from here. And then logically, it went on to the extension to go and say, why don't we also run the back office and support from here as well? So it flipped the other way around. And again, so for those of you who have experienced our Revolut app or hopefully will experience our Revolut app in the later half of the year when we launch in public, you'll know that most of our support is also in-app. And it is very first-level bot-centric, humanized, personalized bot-centric, which is a very different level of using technology for support. But at the end of it, you still have people who are supporting your calls and your emails, and we got that stuff in as well. And there again, another very basic thing hit people, the number of people who were conversant in high quality English from here. A lot of the other countries where we were hiring people from were conversant in their own native language, whether it be French or German or Polish or whatever. The high number of high quality English speaking talent from India was also noticed for that. That's what led the journey, these 3 blocks of people. And yeah, today we're close to 4,000 people in just 3 odd years of having been here. I've taken my time to walk you through our journey.
It's worth knowing fact about the journey of how you crossed one wave to second wave and third wave and going deeper and deeper in technology and serving not only the parent company, one geography, but serving 40 different now countries around it. It's a story, and that too in just, I would say, 2022 to 2025, just 3.5 years old. You've done a fantastic work. Simple question, straightforward answer. No long answers. Question is can we say that Revolt India has developed a unique product for the Revolt parent company?
Yes.
Correct?
One word answer.
Okay. Now, in that sense, can we feel proud that we are increasing the revenue of Revolut UK company?
Absolutely. Like I said, today our global revenue is headed by an Indian origin person. Today, our core payments, which looks at the payment rails across all the 40 countries we are present in, is an Indian origin person. Today, so the thought leadership for all of this is being led by people from here.
Yeah.
The example that I mentioned about the FinCrime solution, that has been developed here and scaled up. So we're not just enabling revenue multiplier, we're enabling fraud control, and we're enabling cost optimization, while at the same time maintaining salary parity. And this also I want to talk about. I've never, in all these 5 years, positioned India as a low-cost center to move jobs here too. When
Fantastic.
I myself was okay, let's keep this in this room. I don't know whether this is being telecast. When I was negotiating okay, I can share this. When I was negotiating my own compensation as CEO, it wasn't on INR CEO salaries. I was like, how much are you willing to pay a CEO in a territory? That is what your CEO in India deserves. And not just for myself, for every single role down the line, whatever that person would get paid in any other jurisdiction, the corresponding adjusted for purchasing power parity, but that is what they get here. So they're as well off if they had to do the same job elsewhere. So it shouldn't feel like, our COO, as a matter of fact, is somebody who relocated back after an Ivy League education and working in the US to work here. And never for a moment does he feel that I had to take a pay cut and come back to India to be with my family. No, it was a choice that I can come back to India and work on the same level of job, earning the same level of pay while being here in India. And being able to have set that up, I think, is a different matter of pride altogether.
Lovely. This leads to saying that you're driving an innovation within your own organization here to design various products, solutions, revenue generation, and all. Would you be interested in partnering with the fintech ecosystem of India and Karnataka from a Revolut perspective to A, mentor the startups in the fintech, B, co-innovate for your own product line value additions, the third, take them to the various potential clients of yours, go to market together. Either ways, would you be open with that thought process?
Yes. Okay, now just one line on each of the three. On the first one, on partnering with local fintechs, absolutely. Absolutely okay to have hackathons participate in your KDEM and RBIH, which is also hosted right here in Bangalore. There are hackathons to do joint innovation as an industry. Absolutely open to that. Second is joint incubation programs with education institutes here. This is one state which boasts of a number of premier institutes, right from the IITs, IIMs, to your Manipals, to your Christ colleges. I'm just naming a few off the top of my head, but it has a plethora of education institutions to create fintech-oriented incubation programs with those institutes. Again, something that I'm absolutely open for contributing to this ecosystem.
So next time, if any one of you touch base with us at any event, please do not forget to ask a question that how Revolut and Government of Karnataka are working on the fintech ecosystem together. Because I'm going to take up this exercise with you and make sure that you are able to leverage your knowledge and strength to the larger fintech ecosystem for the Karnataka and for the world, right? So we'll do this. Don't forget to ask this question when we meet next time.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Before you ask, will you please introduce yourself to... Can she get a mic, please?
I would like to question you. I run an NGO called Reach the Need Foundation. We have 16 lakh women farmers and 3 lakh women weavers. So fintech has grown in a span of 3 years, 3.5 years. That's what Sir was sharing about. And do you have a platform for our rural, crowd? Because the market is rural today to any financial institute, in fact.
Thank you for asking this
Thank
question.
you. And I would like to have a cream on the cake. What is a platform you have for a women, ratio of fraud happening? Women's are hacked.
I will actually take your question a little differently, ma'am.
Yeah.
As a woman and a woman leader, one of the things that I believe in is not doing things differently for women. And I'm saying this upfront over here, but doing things in a manner that brings women on the same platform as the men.
Completely agree.
And I have a similar thought process for rural versus urban as well. It's not about doing things completely differently for rural, but creating a platform where folks coming from rural Bharat, as we call it, as opposed to urban India, are not excluded from anything that an urban Indian is able to access. That's at a philosophical level. Now, coming to specifics on our own thought process of how we think about doing it, and that's our and my take on financial inclusion overall as well, is by democratizing ease of access. What I mean by that is you can have one financial product, and notably, let's take one of the most urban products, urban elite products. Let's take cross-border remittances, LRS. It is still considered a preserve of high-end urban India where rich people send their kids to study in colleges overseas and are able to make those payments. Why isn't a rural home whose male breadwinner is driving a taxi overseas is able to just send 10 pounds equivalent to them as a gift for their birthday? To me, that is financial inclusion, right? How do you enable that? Today, the difference lies in there is an asymmetry of information, which is based on the channels through which information is provided to the urban Indian. It's very smartphone-centric, it is very English-centric, it is very word-centric. The reason I chose these three words is because the moment you're able to enable the same thing, same information on feature phones, you're able to do them in vernacular, and you're able to do them in a voice-enabled fashion, you're automatically including another set of people in your information set who are hitherto getting excluded. The second thing is on ease of processes. You can have this transaction where you're required to necessarily go to, with all due respect to my banker friends, you're required to walk into a bank branch where a relationship manager or somebody sitting there will look you up and down, speak to you in English, ask you to fill a lot of forms in English, and before you know it, you're overawed from the door of the branch itself and you walk away for a lot of people, right? By giving them access to do the same thing in a simple form from their phones, from their homes, gives a lot of people, particularly in the segments that you were talking about, rural or women, who cannot have a branch to go and access to or do not want to be able to do the same thing digitally in the convenience of their homes. So the second thing is that convenience of access. And the third, and probably one of the most important, is the sheer affordability of it. Today, for transactions like this, there's a 5 to 6% markup of charges. It's not that the rural Indian cannot pay, but there has to be some kind of a reasonableness on the charges that are put. I think by making these kind of transactions affordable, you automatically include them. So, long answer again, I know, but in short, the message that I wanted to share is it's not about doing things completely differently for another set. It's about creating those enablers which are hitherto causing a segment to be excluded to make sure that those blocks are removed. And that is what we're committed to doing. Yeah.
Lovely question and great answer in terms of differentiating, boss. There's no call differences here in terms of services. It's exactly the same. We have to make sure that is access to that is part easily available to you. In a nutshell.
Access, affordable, and the information is available.
Correct. Well, the time is up, but I will still go on for a couple of minutes with you.
Oh, time's up.
Yeah, it's there.
Sanjeev,
But that
sir,
was in front of you all.
can I have an opportunity to ask?
Yes, you will have an opportunity, but before that, I want to ask one question.
Oh, please go ahead. I'll wait. Please
I'll
go.
try and keep it short.
Yeah, be short, great one. One democratization of word that you used in your answer to the lady there, right? We have been, and just want to share with the fact that democratization of entrepreneurship is the very important element for our Indian economy now. in 2.5 years back when this concept was first time told, and people were thinking about what you're talking about. Today, KPMG writes a report on democratization of entrepreneurship. Today, the state governments are talking about the principles of democratization of entrepreneurship, right? The only thing which I want to take a small credit in, this word was coined by me. I'm very happy that this is getting sensed by you to the larger places and it's getting to that level of understanding. It's a hard work of 3 years, but reaching to that place is else.
I think that warrants a round of applause.
No, but I feel really happy about this part. This is the one I want to say. The question here is nothing of this sort of that. You can ask technical questions later, but since the time is up, but I will take up, I think they've given you 4 minutes more.
Okay, if you guys have a reservation, you can ask us to shut up and we will. Okay?
Yeah. No, but one question is, which food you miss in Kolkata versus you like in, because you've been in Kolkata for a long number of years. Any food that you miss there, which is not available in Bangalore?
Oh, the fish. I'm a true blue fish eating bong and we actually get it a day later over here. So if you can get me the hilsa on the same day. Yeah.
Okay, Jenny, note it down. We'll figure it out something.
And vice versa, now that I've spent such a long time here and my kid is growing up a true blue Bangalorean, we miss the meddu vadas and thatte idlis when we go back home there as well.
Have you ever tried this Madur Vada?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the best Madur Vada which I like is in the trains. My God, there's super yummy one. आप लोग ट्रेन में ट्रेवल करते हैं कि नहीं करते हैं? Anybody who travels in the train from Bangalore to Mysore? I love it. The only reason I travel in the train is just to eat the Madur Vada or the Madur Vadas.
On the Vande Bharat.
Any train doesn't matter. It's a 2.5 hours or 2 hours sometimes journey, doesn't matter.
You don't get the Madur Vada on the Vande Bharat, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks for the clarity. Oh, doesn't stop there.
Okay.
It's between Mandya and Ramnagara. Okay, there. We've all learned that today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Question to you and then I will have another one. 2 minutes.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Sanjeev sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to ask you a question. My name is Captain Vinayak and I am global head for an American company called Tiger Petrol. We sell jet fuel, commercial aircraft and EN 5000. So my question is, I worked in a lot of foreign companies and especially operating from India. Beside the rules and regulations and the certification, what we face is one of the challenges. But the biggest challenge is when we look at manpower. If you see, we have a CSAT score, which comes from the client from abroad. So you catering for 40 countries, it's a great achievement, well done. But then what we faced a problem is the vernaculism, the mother tongue influence, because you see the British people, they don't understand Indians, the Americans, they don't understand Indian. And they always say, Sewa, can I speak to an American or a Britisher? So how did you handle this set of communication defects when it came to customer services? Thank you.
That's actually a brilliant question. I'll try and keep my answer short, but I think that is a historical legacy that a lot of folks who've run GCCs for a long time have faced. I think the one way to do that is consistency. So what we have focused on a lot is the way our systems are and the responses that are prompted to anybody who responds, to the way the FAQs are drafted in languages that are actually culture agnostic, if I may. Because if I were to try and create cultural sensitivity for 40 different cultures from one very unique culture over here, that is a mammoth challenge, and I am not ashamed to say that even I am not up to that task. But that's what I meant by what I therefore focused my energies on removing cultural aspects from it altogether. It's very functional, very fact-based, very to the point. So anybody from any part of the world, whatever their query is, they actually get the answer and focus on things like first call resolution. So as soon as your problem is solved on the first call itself, the satisfaction indices are higher. Then the cultural nuances sort of recede to the background. That's what I have witnessed. And today, other than just the sheer numbers over here, 35% of Revolut's global workforce is here in India. The fact that we're concentrating that while having presence in 40 countries is testament to the fact that our customers are actually appreciating what we're doing from here.
Yeah. And I think time has come when people will start looking at Hindi first rather than the language first, or a Kannada first, then any other language first. Well, it's not too far. The day will come very soon. If I sum up your journey, your contribution, it's like Revolut started with a multinational company, let's say global company, with a local face. Okay? Today, I can say that today it's a Indian company with a global face.